My name's Sebastian and I left home at 17. Life before I left home was pretty good. It had its ups and downs, of course. I had my brothers and sisters around, we had jokes, I went to college, like every teenager does. Yeah, it was pretty good. Well, I came back from college one day. I was quite tired. I asked my father if I could just go to bed. I asked him if I needed any help, doing the garden. And he said, no, it's okay, you've got hay fever, just go to bed, watch the football, it's all right. He came into my room and he was like, why are you not helping me? I was like, Dad, come on, I just asked you. And he just went a bit nuts and decided to tell me to leave. And I think everything just built up, like his daughter dying and the relationship with my mum and him broke up. So there's a lot of compressed anger and issues that he didn't get out, and that day he just happened to, release it all. And I was quite scared, as he's a martial artist and don't really want to mess with him. So I packed my college bag and a few things in a rucksack, said goodbye to my brothers and sisters. I was a bit unsure what I should be doing. I rang my mum, she lives in Cambridge, went to hers and stayed at hers briefly, but her boyfriend didn't really want myself living there. So I called the council and arranged a meeting for 3 days' time. I went to the council office. The lady gave me a form to fill out and then just walked away. And I was like, what am I meant to do? I can't read this. I have dyslexia and I couldn't read it at all. So I just burst into tears. I thought this is all I had to do. If I do this, I can go back to college, and move on. But it wasn't as easy as I thought it would be. I thought I'd just get a council flat, That wasn't the situation. So I ended up in a hostel, yeah. It was a mixed hostel, so you had young people with families, elderly people, ex-drug users, people that go to AA and things like that. And I've never really known anyone that does drugs before going there, and it was quite an experience. One of my best friends drove me there. At the time, I only told 3 friends about my situation, and I was kind of scared to tell anyone that this is what's happening to me. They used to me walking around in Prada clothes, and it was quite shocking for them, and it was quite embarrassing for me. After getting the keys, I just left in this room with one sink, and I was like, what do I do now, When you're in a hostel or in a room on your own and you've got time to think about things, I've just said goodbye to my brothers and sisters. Am I going to see them again? Is my dad going to let me see them? Why has he reacted in such a way? Is it my fault? For a long time I was like, is this my fault? After the initial, bursting into tears and things like that, all emotions just kind of drained, and I was just solely focused on, becoming successful, because I was adamant that I'm not going to quit college, I'm not going to miss a day, get myself a good job, get myself my own house, and just to not to prove to my father, but to prove to myself that I'm not going to let this minor thing affect me for the rest of my life. I went into a house share after the hostel. My first time ever sharing a house with somebody I didn't know. It was a new experience, to say the least. The guy that was there seemed to be quite nice, until one day I kept hearing a thudding noise, and it was him beating up his mate. Later on I found out he was on glue, marijuana and alcohol. I was pulled him off with his mate. I was like, calm down, He pulled out a knife. Fortunately, I'd done some martial arts when I was younger. I disarmed him, put him in an arm lock. I put the knife in the kitchen. I was like, calm down. And then he started going absolutely crazy, and I couldn't really control him. And I didn't want to hurt him. I didn't want to punch him, because usually he's quite nice to me, And so I called the police. Later on they found them nearby a train station, and then they brought them back to the house with me there. I'm pretty sure that there's a lot of teenagers that just want to move out because they're going through, your mum might be moaning at you, telling you to clean your room, but that's really not a good enough excuse to move out, to be honest, because it's not it's not as nice out there as it may seem. The grass isn't always greener on the other side. I was on a scheme with the job centre called Essex Unite. Got some work experience at this law firm with Mighty. Mighty is like a service provider, like really quite big company. At the end of the work experience, they offered me a job, which I was like, yes, I got a job, you know. It's pretty cool being there. Everyone's suited and booted. I've always wanted to be in the city. It was extremely difficult to get the place I live in now, but, you know, throughout all trials and tribulations, I managed to get it in the end. I'm currently sitting on my own sofa, my own cushions, which is great, you know.